Hello everyone, I am a few minutes late, apologies, but hopefully, I gave you lots of notice, so hopefully I have some people joining. To make a super cute card with the tools. There we go, okay. Pulling this up so I can see your comments. I've tried to adjust my camera so you could see more, because this glass plate, which is awesome, is bigger. So I apologize because I think you're a little bit further away now, but hopefully you can see more. So please, if you're popping on, say hello. Let me know who you are or where you're from. Okay, and we're gonna get started. So I shared this card. I'm gonna move my little thing here off to the side. I shared this card online, which was inspired by something we saw when we got our first peek at these products. And a woman, a demonstrator, I think from Australia, she made like a whole bunch of beautiful cards with this. And one of them that really spoke to me was this one similar to this that used like a sort of feminine color scheme. So I knew that I wanted to try that. So this is the card I have previously made, previously showed, uses the DSP. This design came from my upline North Shore stamper. Super cute, love it, but fairly masculine, obviously, and a Father's Day sentiment. So I wanted to play around with this idea of a more feminine feel, but still be able to use this stamp set, because, you know, tools aren't just for boys. And yeah, so we're going to recreate it. So I already had all of the things prepped, but we're gonna make a couple of changes because I had a couple of ideas. So we will use some of these things that I've already prepped. It will just make things faster, and we will do things a little differently. So when I made this initial card, this is the embossing folder that carried over from the motorcycles. Oh, sorry, just let me find it. This metal plate. So we are going to use that again, but we're going to actually change where we use it. So then I thought we might use either the painted texture or the timber, or maybe exposed brick. We'll see what you guys think. Okay. So we're going to just sort of adapt and modify so that we still get to do some of the creating. Color scheme here is Berry Burst and Bubble Bath. So what I have already done, and I'm going to show you those die cut pieces, it just saves us die cutting and me moving off to the side. The little things to make the toolbox. So there are so many amazing dies here. So you've got the pegboard, you've got this piece and this piece, which are like your toolbox. And then these adorable little nuts and bolts here that I already cut out. We have the wrench that I already die cut. There is the paintbrush that I stamped and die cut, but we are going to do that again. And there is the pencil that I stamped and die cut. These two little guys are actually the DSP, and those are die cut with, not this set, some dies. And then I have a deckled circle in vellum. And I had already done a greeting, and I did like an ombre thing with markers. So we're gonna play around with that as well. So we're going to keep this out. But you can see it's got like the pliers, it's got the wrench, the hammer, the drill. To me, this is like a little X-Acto knife, so I'm not exactly sure where that goes. I was hoping somebody would use it so I could see. The paintbrush. I'll have to figure that out. Okay, moving on. What was I just thinking? Oh, I wanted to show you that. So these little banners that I already did with the DSP are from the Nested Essentials. And this is the DSP that you earned, the Saleabration DSP. Okay, so we are going to just play around and change this guy up a little, and I'm going to show you how the stamping works. So initially I had this guy done with that metallic metal plate. So I think we aren't going to use this background. We're going to do a different background, but we are going to use the metal plate on the toolbox. So all of these metallic pieces are from that silver, which I believe is still available online, the silver foil specialty pack. So it's now an online exclusive, but I thought we would emboss our toolkit. So I've seen lots of these with the toolbox embossed. You could do it in red as well, you know, that sort of standard toolbox look. So we're going to do that. And then I wondered if we were going to emboss with this, then what should we do on the background? Should we do like the painted brush strokes since we have the brush? Or should we do the timber? Because that's kind of like, you know, construction, wood, or like just these kinds of things. Or should we do the exposed brick? So if we're going to change up the background, which one of those do you think we should do? Just to make this card a little bit different. I would love to know. So there is our new embossed toolbox. So here I did a wood one. Here we're doing a metallic one. So if we aren't going to have that metal background, what do you guys think? Should we do brick, painted brush, or the wood grain? For our new background. So I need a new piece of bubble bath. I will cut that while I am waiting for someone. Someone must have an opinion. I can see you watching. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. So I'm going to cut this 4 by 5 1/4. No, nobody wants to contribute. Okay. Well, sometimes when I can't decide which one I want to use, I just play around and I look and see which one I like best. So for example, I put this guy in here. Look, hey, that's the brick. Now what happens if I kind of like build this behind there? Do I like the look of it? That's kind of how I play around with it. So, okay, that's not bad. Initially, I thought the wood, when I was initially thinking I would change out the metallic. So if we did the wood grain, and now our toolbox, yep, that might still be the winner. But given that we've got the paintbrush, I'm curious what the painted brush strokes would look like. Trying to shed a little more light on the subject here. Oh, geez. This is what I do with like my little bits and bobs. They live on my lamp when I haven't used them. Okay, and there is the brush strokes. I think I like the wood, so I'm gonna go with that. Okay, so we're gonna emboss this as well while we've got that out, and then I'm just gonna do some stamping. I'm gonna show you, because I wanna do another paintbrush with blends. I did the last one by actually using this stamp, so I'm just gonna show you the difference. But we're gonna run this through. Okay, so there is our wood grain, and then all I did was fold this corner. So you'll see this too. There are a couple demos. This is like they love this. They often fold a corner and kind of like just rough it up or whatever. It's a neat look. So that would go on there. Comme ça. Okay, so we'll just kind of start building this up a little. This is how, if you've watched me before, you know this is kind of how I roll. I kind of build things up and then take them all off and put stuff together. I just kind of like to lay it out. So when I made this other version, I ended up cutting off some of this circle. I don't want the whole circle. And basically I decided by kind of putting on the toolbox, I didn't want anything showing below the toolbox. It was sort of how it went. So I'm just kind of go like that. And cut off some of the circle. And then that's going to come on here, and we are just going to build up our toolbox from there. Okay, so I am just going to show you, and in this card, I did the wrench with the foil. This one I just did it in basic gray. So again, I wanted to see what, you know, a couple of different looked like. So now I'm just going to show you, we're going to stamp a different paintbrush and then see which one we like better. So here, oh, I've got some scrap right here. So when I did this paintbrush, I used all these stamps. So I stamped it in gray granite, and then I did use a little bit of blends to color that line in, and then I did the bristles in crumb cake, and then I did the ink spot in berry burst. So what we are going to do this time is we are not going to stamp the fill. We're just going to stamp the brush, and then we're going to use our blends. We are going to stamp a little bit of the paint though. And we'll stamp the pencil again, just so I can show you how easy it is to line it up. So what I thought I would do this time, and again, I'd be curious what your thoughts are, but you guys are a quiet bunch, was I did a little Google search of paintbrushes, and they are often this crumb cake color, right? That really pale wood color. Or I was thinking also pecan pie. But what I'm wondering, I want the bristles to be crumb cake. So I think what I'm going to do is stamp the whole thing in crumb cake. That's kind of like your standard paintbrush color, right? But then I was wondering what happens if we clean it and stamp the top again in the pecan pie. I'm gonna ink it up and then do it on a scrap because I want to see if I actually like it. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to stamp this again in pecan pie, and because it's clear, I had a pretty good luck the last time. I'm just going to try to stamp exactly over. So now we have the darker and then the lighter bristles. It's not a perfect match, but it's pretty close. And then we're going to color it in, so it's going to be fine. Okay, done with that. And then we're going to use our berry burst to do this bit of the ink, not the ink, the paint. So it lines up pretty well. It took me a little bit of practice. Well, I got it pretty good today. So what I did with my other ones is I stamped it a couple of times just to really look like there's quite a bit of paint on there. Okay, now most paintbrushes, this bit is colored. It's like stainless steel. So I was just gonna see which color I wanted that to be. So those are that's light gray granite and smoky slate. Oh, and these are the darks. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this in light. And then I'm going to do this in the dark. Maybe up here too. And then we're going to color our paintbrush because we did the pecan pie, right? So we're just going to do this. So like I said, there is the option to use the stamp, which is what I did the first time. So I just wanted to show you also so many options if you choose to color it in with the blends. But if you don't have the blends, you don't need them because the stamp fits perfectly. Okay, that looks good. I like it. Put our blends to the side. And then of course we have the die for that. We will die cut that. And then the other thing I wanted to show you was the pencil. So I did the pencil. So I'm just going to show you how easy it is to line it up. Or I guess, you know what, we could use the pencil and we could do another tool if we wanted. We could do the wrench, the pencil. I guess we could do the wrench or the hammer. What do you think? Throw another tool in there. Trying to think which one will balance, won't look too big in here. I feel like the hammer will look way too big. So let's stamp the wrench. But this was the pencil. So there's the pencil stamp and then there's the fill. So that's all I did when I did it before. I stamped it in Berry Burst and then I did the inside with the pool party. So if we were to stamp the wrench, just to show you what that looks like. Pretty sure that block is not big enough. Okay, so a wrench, if we were to stamp that in basic gray. Do you love my crafty little use of scraps? I don't throw anything out. Okay, and then there is the fill for, oh, maybe the fill is just for the hammer. Okay, so we will color in the wrench. So if we look like, you know, I can't Google obviously right now, but we can look at their wrench, and their wrench was yellow. but it can be whatever color we want, I guess. But the paper is always a good place to look too for inspiration, right? So let's take a look. So they did red and white, or this one was yellow, or they also did, so it doesn't matter. We can do whatever color we want. I'm trying to think of the wrenches my husband owns. Yeah, I mean, we could use this. But I think it is meant for the paintbrush. So if we want to do this, let's use our light colors again. So bring back our gray granite. So again, Stampin' Up! Has made this easy because they have all these lines for the shading. So I don't know if you're a light to dark, dark to light. I like to do my dark first, and then go over it with my light, and then if I feel like I need to, I can always add more dark. I'm trying to see, oh, that inside bit is the same. So we're going to do that in the dark. Okay. And then, what color should we make this? I don't want it to be pink. So this is often when I like pull out my little color wheel that I printed off to see what other shades it has with these colors. So if I just quickly look up Berry Burst or Bubble Bath shows Crumb Cake, and Berry Burst also shows Crumb Cake. Okay, so maybe I will just do that, Crumb Cake. Keep it easy. If you do not own Stampin' Blends, I appreciate to get them is a bit of an investment, but oh, they are a dream, dream, dream to work with. Okay, so now we have a wrench, we have a new paintbrush. So we will die cut those and put this together. I've got a colossal mess, so that seems about right. Some of you have left, so that also seems about right. But that's okay. I get it. It's hard to watch people's videos. People are busy. You kind of pop on and you take a quick look. I often, because I don't have time to watch the whole thing, I go back on at the end and see what the final product was. And then I can watch the video if I need to figure out what they did. But I often find I watch a little bit, especially if there's something where I'm like, I wonder how they did that, or I'm curious where that piece came from or something, then I will definitely, but I find I don't often have time, so I appreciate anyone who does actually stick out an entire video, because I know that it's not short. It takes a minute, or 20, or 30. Okay, let's move these guys out of the way. run this through the mini. Again, I'm sure you know, if you're watching, that it is Saleabration right now, which is the best time of the year to stock up on paper, envelopes, ink pads. Like if you don't need something new, or if you can't justify that I want another stamp set, etc., you are in the freebies even with the staples, right? So you order more envelopes, you order more adhesives, or you order a die cutting machine if you don't have one. These are the times for that kind of stuff. I do a paper pumpkin subscription. So I always do a prepaid paper pumpkin for 6 months. And then I always end up missing a month or two. So 6 months probably lasts me more like 9. But it gets me through a good part of the year, and it earns me some Saleabration items. So it's a win-win. And this paper pumpkin that you have to subscribe to tonight looks like it will be very, very pretty. Okay, let's put this version of our card together. Okay, so we have our background. We went with the wood. Last time I went with the metallic. So I'll be curious to see which one people like more. I'll be curious to see which one I like more. So add this layer. And then I'm going to get out my adhesive because we're basically going to add everything to this vellum and then add it all to our card front. So I'm going to put adhesive on the bottom of this toolkit only at the moment, or toolbox, because we're going to be adding things inside of it. And then we just have to make sure this is going to sort of fit in our circle like we want it to. So I'm going to bring it down even a bit more. Okay. And then we're going to put this guy in. So just have him line up perfectly. And then I had this guy tucked in underneath. Sort of like that. Okay. Now we want to put our tools in. So let's just put a bit of adhesive on here and then just kind of play around. So we got that guy, got our cute little pencil. I saw a card yesterday where they stamped pencils everywhere, so I was thinking this would be a really cute for a teacher, you know, pencils everywhere. And now we can add, this time we can use the wrench, and then we'll use this new paintbrush I did with the blends. So I don't know, we might still have everything else going in this direction. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put the wrench down first. And then the paintbrush. And then I am going to put, and I do this a lot too, 1 mini dimensional on this end so that it pops up. And then on this initial card, I put everything down flat. The only other thing we have is this little guy. So he was kind of down here. Like that. Okay, and then I made this a thank you card. So because I wanted this to pop, I had layered it behind or in front of this berry burst. So the other option though is to just have our words without the berry burst, which I actually think I kind of like better. Or I want to have a way thinner little mat. So I think, okay, I know what we'll do. We'll just make this tighter. There we go. And then if you're wondering how I did this, the ombre, I used markers, the Stampin' markers. So I'll show you what we did, what I did. I took my stamp. Oh, you know what? I didn't use markers. I used my ink pads. Now I'm remembering what I did. And you always want to dip it in your lighter color first. I dipped it in my lighter color. And then I dipped it in the darker color. And then I'll show you what that looks like. And then you get that kind of ombre look. The other thing you can do, because it's clear, is you can do the whole thing in the light color, and then you can clean your stamp and just stamp up half the stamp in the dark and then stamp over top. If you're fairly certain that you will be able to stamp exactly in the same spot. Okay, let's put this guy on. So this would go on here. This one is going to have dimensionals. And then, excuse me, instead of embellishments, we use those little nuts and bolts that I die cut. And I'm actually going to kind of put that on an angle. I think I like that on an angle. So then that would go on there. And I think actually this time I'm going to pop this up as well. So we're going to just make this guy a little bit different. And that's okay. We got lots of spots here where we can put our dimensionals, keeping in mind they can't be where you would see them and vellum. Right, there we go. Add this on and then we'll add our little embellishments and we're done. I have no idea what time it is. Oh, yeah, we're just around the half-hour mark. It's my sweet spot for card viewing. Okay, there we go. And then we're gonna take this guy, and I should have used the adhesive back sheets. I did not. So there are multiple options. I know somebody who, they'll put a little dab of glue on this silicone and then use like a sponge, which is a very smart idea. I usually do this and then end up with glue all over my fingers. So, you know, whatever, they both work. So then I just kind of place these the same as I would have placed a couple of embellishments. I'm going to use my pick tool to pick it up and try not to get glue all over me. But you can see it's stuck to my finger, so that didn't work. So then I'm going to place this here because this is kind of how I would normally place a couple of embellishments. Up there like that. And then this would be our third, because you know, power of threes, odds, pleasing to the eye or something of that effect. Yeah. And then we'll just place those down. Okay. And now, ooh, I think I like this version for sure better. All right, let's bring it into the screen though. And then I'll be curious what you think. So here, well, is the card we made today. And this is the card I had made previously. So today we have the metallic toolbox. We embossed that. We added a couple more things to the toolbox. We added the wrench. We used our blends instead of the stamp background, which I think looks really nice. And the different background, and popped it up. So same card, different twist, and just a different way to get a feminine or sort of non-traditional color palette in with the tool set. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you are inspired to create a fun alternative version of your own. Thank you. Bye, guys.